The era is finally over. Toronto FC have terminated both Lorenzo Insigne and Federico Bernardeschi's contracts by mutual consent, using up both of our two buyouts for this MLS season. We all knew eventually these two would have to go. To be frank, going the buyout route, I think a lot of people are surprised it took this long. But Insigne and Bernardeschi are finally gone, marking the end to the most destructive era in Toronto FC history. Both players came to Toronto midway through the 2022 season with lofty expectations. Fresh off of winning Euro 2021, Insigne and Bernardeschi were supposed to return Toronto FC to the glory days, return Toronto FC to the heights of the Jozy Altidore, Sebastian Giovinco, Michael Bradley era. And when they first joined in 2022, things looked good. They were scoring goals. The team looked instantly better once the two of them joined, but very quickly things fell off the rails. And season after season went by with neither of them contributing much of anything, and the temper tantrums growing and the morale dropping and the team looking worse and worse and worse, until finally we reached a breaking point, until this team dropped into basically complete irrelevancy. And in the end, the Italians ended their time in Toronto with Insigne scoring 19 goals in 76 appearances in all competitions for Toronto FC, all while being the second highest paid player in MLS behind Lionel Messi, and Bernardeschi scoring 26 goals in 99 appearances in all competitions. To be fair to Bernardeschi, he actually had some potential. If he didn't have an anchor of a designated player of Insigne next to him and had a better team and a better morale around the team while he was here, Bernardeschi might have actually been something. But combined both of them together and as two of the worst designated player signings in Toronto FC history. So we all knew this was coming. The only real question is why right now? I've basically been saying throughout all my videos, and with the moves Toronto FC have made this season, it looked like that TFC was waiting out Insigne's contract before making any big moves. Obviously, they tried to move him in the winter. He refused the 3 potential moves they set up for him. They weren't planning on buying him out, but obviously something has changed. Maybe MLSC, looking at the ticket sales and the attendance for the first half of this season, went and thought, damn, we can't sustain this for another year until Insigne's contract runs out, or something came up that's so good that they needed to dump those 2 contracts right now. Now, Toronto FC did have an open designated player spot coming into this season. After Richie Laryea was bought down to a TAM player, TFC only had 2 designated players in Insigne and Bernardeschi. So a third spot was always available, which is interesting because the only real reason why you'd be buying these guys out now instead of just signing a third designated player this summer would be because of internal budget reasons, or you're getting multiple guys. Now, buying them both out now means Toronto FC has a clean slate of open designated player spots for this summer transfer window. And obviously, to get designated players in MLS, it's easier to get them in the summer transfer window, even though it's mid-season, because that's when European guys are free agents. If you get a guy in the winter, you need to pay a transfer fee, and there's a bunch of other nonsense attached to it, and it's just overall more difficult. You can get signed guys as free agents in the summer, and then, yeah, like for this season, short of a miracle run, Toronto FC is not going to make the playoffs and be competitive. But if you get guys now, that's an easier setup so that when next season starts, you have them all ready to go. You're not playing half a season and then waiting for a summer transfer window where you can get free agents from Europe then. So this leads me to believe that there is something coming. Toronto FC likely has a designated player or 2 lined up that they want to sign, who probably are free agents right now coming from Europe, and that is what they are opening up roster spots for. I might be completely wrong, but that logically is what makes the most sense. Now, what will that likely look like? Likely it would look like a striker, because for years we have been saying Toronto FC needs a true number 9. We've been lacking a solid number 9 since Jozy Altidore fell off following 2018. And likely there would also be another creative attacking midfielder or right winger. The team seems pretty happy with Theo Corbianu at left wing, and he actually has been really good in Major League Soccer for Toronto FC this season. With the improvements Robin Fraser has made to this team defensively, at least I feel, 1 or 2 attacking X factors who consistently can get us a goal or 2 every game, really makes a big difference and makes us all of a sudden kind of competitive. So no idea who we're going to sign. It's not going to be anyone anywhere near the magnitude of scale of Insigne or Bernardeschi. No one anywhere near those salaries. I mean, MLSE has probably cut the budget for designated players after the whole Insigne fiasco, but we've been down this rabbit hole before. Jermaine Defoe was a big name signing and was a complete failure, and then next year we went out and got Giovinco, who was a smaller name, and he turned out to be the best player in team history. Look for more Giovinco / Pozuelo style signings, less big European names, but hopefully we're looking at guys who, like them, were in the later half of their 20s, who still in their prime can come over and just dominate in Major League Soccer, because those are the types of designated players that actually win you championships, not aging European stars like Insigne or Giroud or even Messi and Suarez. But the era of the Italians is finally over, almost exactly 3 years after it began, and what a long 3 years that was. Hopefully the turnaround and the come up is nigh. But regardless of what happens next, regardless of what designated players we sign next, it would be very difficult for it to be as disastrous as these ones were. So that does it for this video. As always, if you'd like to hit like if you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.